Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Mauricio Umansky crazy for new flame, Nikita Kahn. RE8 house husband, Mauricio Umansky is crazy for his new flame, Nikita Kahn. The philanthropist, actress, and young interior designer first appeared in Greece with Mauricio. Now they have been spotted traveling together, and it does not seem to be slowing down. So what are insiders saying about their romance? Keep reading for more details. When Mauricio Umansky and Kyle Richards announced they had separated, he was doing DJTs. It looked like he had moved on with his pro-partner, Emma Slater, as they were seen out holding hands and cuddling up. That hurt Kyle, who was also seen with her own new potential love interest, Morgan Wade. They were seen with matching rings and Morgan had a Tay tattoo, so it was apparent there may be more going on than they let on. Eventually, Mauricio moved out of their lavish home, and it was addressed on both RHOBH and Buying Beverly Hills. Mauricio spent time with Lil Pons and Anita, and then he was recently seen flying into Greece. When he arrived at the airport, a mystery woman greeted him and embraced him, sealing it with a deep kiss. She was unmasked as Nikita Kahn, a young actress, philanthropist, and interior designer. The two spent time enjoying Greece and were recently seen in Mexico together. Meanwhile, Kyle has been filming or with Morgan. Now, according to Reality T, things are very serious between Mauricio and Nikita, and it has become exclusive. An insider shared these details about Mauricio Umansky and Nikita Kahn's romance. Mauricio is head over heels with Nikita. He's not dating anyone else and seeing her every chance he gets. He didn't want to make a show of things, but he's glad things are out in the open now. This also is not as new as it appears, which makes sense as Nikita embraced Mauricio in Greece as if they had known each other for quite some time. Even before the trip to Mykonos, they've been seeing each other a while, like 2 or 3 months. However, it was that particular trip that took the couple to the next level, and they have continued to enjoy adventures together. Kyle Richards allegedly has been talking to divorce attorneys, but nothing has happened just yet. Her sister and RHOBH co-star, Kathy Hilton, has been there for her and wants her to start getting out there more. Garcelle Bouvat, who also stars alongside Kyle and Kathy, shared that this has been very hard to watch Mauricio Umansky flaunt his new relationship. That's really hard to watch. I feel for Kyle for sure. And it's hard seeing pictures of your ex moving on, even if you don't want them back. It was alleged that Kyle's co-stars were over her whining about her split. Yet, she claims that is false, and they have been very supportive. Fans must wait for season 14 of the hit Bravo reality series to return to see what happens when Kyle sees Mauricio gallivanting. The whispers started subtly, as they always do in the glittering world of Los Angeles. Rumors floated through the tight-knit circles of the wealthy and famous, carried on the wind by the hushed conversations of those who thrive on gossip. Mauricio Umansky, the charismatic real estate mogul with a reputation as golden as the sun setting over the Pacific, was the subject of the latest scandalous tale. This time, the story was that Mauricio had fallen head over heels for someone new, a woman who was turning his world upside down and inside out. Nikita Kahn. The name alone was enough to raise eyebrows. Nikita Kahn, the stunning Ukrainian-American model and philanthropist, was no stranger to the limelight. With her enigmatic smile, piercing blue eyes, and a presence that commanded attention wherever she went, she was the kind of woman who could easily steal hearts. But Mauricio was supposed to be the man who had it all: a thriving business, a picture-perfect family, and a marriage that had withstood the test of time. The idea that he could be smitten by someone so unexpected was enough to make even the most jaded insiders take notice. It all began at an exclusive charity gala in Beverly Hills, one of those glittering events where the champagne flows freely and the conversations are as polished as the diamonds adorning the attendees. Mauricio had arrived with his usual charm, shaking hands, flashing his million-dollar smile, and making small talk with the ease of a man who knows his worth. But as the evening wore on, something, or rather, someone, caught his eye. Nikita, dressed in a flowing red gown that clung to her every curve, was holding court in a corner of the room, surrounded by admirers. Her laughter rang out like music, drawing Mauricio in with an irresistible pull. He watched her for a moment, captivated by her effortless grace, the way she seemed to float through the room as if she belonged to another world. It wasn't just her beauty that drew him in. It was the energy she radiated, a magnetic force that he couldn't resist. Their eyes met across the room, and in that instant, something shifted in the air. Mauricio felt it deep in his gut, a spark, a connection, something he hadn't felt in years. Before he knew it, he was moving toward her, his feet carrying him across the room, as if by some unseen force. "Nikita," he said, extending a hand, his voice smooth and confident. "Mauricio Umansky, I've heard so much about you." She smiled, a slow, sultry smile that made his heart skip a beat. "The pleasure is all mine, Mauricio. I've heard quite a bit about you as well." Their conversation flowed effortlessly, the words coming easily, as if they had known each other for years. They spoke of art and architecture, of philanthropy and passion projects, but beneath the surface, there was an undercurrent of something more, an unspoken attraction that neither could ignore. Mauricio found himself mesmerized by her intelligence, her wit, and the way she seemed to see right through him, past the facade of the successful businessman to the man underneath. As the night wore on, they gravitated toward each other, their connection deepening with each passing moment. When the gala finally ended and the guests began to trickle out, Mauricio found himself reluctant to leave her side. They exchanged numbers, a promise to meet again, and as he drove home that night, his mind was filled with thoughts of her, her voice, her laugh, the way she had made him feel alive in a way he hadn't felt in years. In the days that followed, Mauricio's thoughts were consumed by Nikita. He found himself replaying their conversations in his mind, reliving the spark that had ignited between them. He knew it was dangerous, knew that he was treading on thin ice, but he couldn't help himself. There was something about her that he couldn't shake, something that drew him to her like a moth to a flame. They began meeting in secret, away from the prying eyes of the public and the ever-watchful paparazzi. Their encounters were electric, filled with a passion that took Mauricio by surprise. He hadn't expected to feel this way, hadn't expected to be so completely consumed by someone so quickly. But with Nikita, everything was different. She challenged him, pushed him, made him question everything he thought he knew about himself. One afternoon, as they lay together in a secluded beach house on the Malibu coast, the waves crashing outside the windows, Nikita turned to him, her eyes filled with a mix of curiosity and concern. "Mauricio," she said softly, "what are we doing?" He looked at her, the question hanging in the air between them. What were they doing? It was a question he had been asking himself ever since they first met. He knew the risks, knew what was at stake, but when he was with her, none of that seemed to matter. "I don't know," he admitted, his voice raw with emotion. "All I know is that when I'm with you, I feel like I'm alive again." She smiled, a sad, knowing smile, and reached out to touch his face. "But what about everything else? Your family, your business?" Mauricio sighed, running a hand through his hair. "I don't have the answers, Nikita. All I know is that I can't stop thinking about you, can't stop wanting to be with you." They lay in silence for a long moment, the weight of their situation pressing down on them. But even as the reality of what they were doing began to sink in, Mauricio knew that he couldn't walk away from her. Not yet. There was something about Nikita, something that had awakened a part of him that he had thought was long dead, and he wasn't ready to let that go. Their relationship continued in secret, a whirlwind romance that left Mauricio breathless and exhilarated. But as the weeks turned into months, the reality of their situation became harder to ignore. The rumors began to swirl, whispers of Mauricio's new flame reaching the ears of those closest to him. The pressure began to mount, the strain on his personal and professional life growing with each passing day. Mauricio knew that he was walking a dangerous line, knew that his feelings for Nikita could cost him everything he had worked so hard to build. But even as the world around him threatened to come crashing down, he couldn't bring himself to let her go. There was something about Nikita Kahn that had captured his heart and soul, something that made him feel alive in a way that nothing else could. And so, despite the risks, despite the potential consequences, Mauricio continued to see her, continued to let himself be drawn into the fiery whirlwind of their affair. Because in the end, some things are worth risking everything for, even if it means losing it all.